Hello and welcome to The Week That Was, where TM's editorial team sit down and discuss some of the burning issues in manufacturing this week. I'm Victoria Fitzgerald and joining me is Callum Bentley, the manufacturer's editor. The big news this week was, of course, the budget. And I guess the biggest news to come out of that announcement was the increase in the living wage.
Yeah, that's right, Vic. So George Osborne has promised to increase the national living wage to £7.20. This increases from the existing wage of $6.50, but is also promised to take that $7.20 up to £9 per hour by 2020. But I guess with anything, particularly when we're looking at budgets, is that it has to come at a cost. One of those costs is the announcement the Chancellor made alongside the minimum wage that student support grants for lower income students were going to be cut as of September next year. So he cited the reason for this being unaffordability of these grants, yet I think this particular move might not play so well with some of the younger voting demographic anyway. But part of the reason behind this is that the Chancellor hopes that these changes will deliver, I think, up to about £9 billion of his funding to be gathered from planned welfare cuts. However, these are yet to be introduced, and I think they're extending the period out from the original date set in his March budget earlier this year. Perhaps a bit of overconfidence from the first all-Tory party budget in quite some time. We'll see, don't know.
Yeah. So what about businesses? I mean, there's been a raft of tax cuts. How did the sector fare?
Yeah, so I guess besides the rise in the minimum wage, the biggest announcement for business and industry are the plans to cut employer national insurance contributions and the phased reductions in corporation tax from 20% to 18% by 2020. But I think where manufacturers are probably a little more sceptical is around the training levy for large businesses. So the Chancellor has made the announcement under the pretense that while many firms did a brilliant job in training workers, there were still too many large companies leaving the training to others and basically just taking the system for a bit of a free ride. Chancellor's words, not mine. So what he has proposed is a levy for the large businesses, which they will pay into a fund, which will be directly managed by those who are contributing to it. This move's obviously a tactic to help the government drive their plan to have 3 million new apprentices by 2020. However, it seems as though not everyone in industry is really buying into it.
That's right. We had John Cridland, Director General of CBI, weighing in, and he made this statement, and I quote, "The Chancellor has ring-fenced a group of large companies and wants to make sure that all of them are pulling their weight." And then he goes on to say that this is a blunt instrument. Yeah,
and I mean, others inside industry are commenting on it as well. We had EEF's Terry Schooler jump into the fray as well, stating that industry will not tolerate a recreation of failed skills bureaucracy of the past. And I have to agree with him there. We need this drive in skills to be pushed forward, and it has to start with the government as well, and industry has to get involved, but we can't let it become bogged down in red tape and bureaucracy. That's a must.
Absolutely. So the budget aside, in other manufacturing news, Siemens have announced 1,000 new jobs at their wind turbine project in Hull. Can you give us a couple more details on that?
Yeah, so Siemens is aiming to invest $310 million was the figure in the Hull project, and this is actually the city's biggest ever inward investment as well. So it's very positive news for the region. The facilities at Alexandra Dock will create up to 1,000 jobs, and that's directly, and then there'll be further jobs to be created, obviously, from that through construction and further down the supply chain as well.
And so have they started recruiting yet?
Yeah, so a small number of jobs are available now, but most will be advertised later this year and further into 2016 as well. There's quite a wide range of jobs available when we're looking at things from the blade manufacturing factory to warehousing to engineering and then managerial functions as well. So Siemens said on its website when it made the announcement originally earlier this week that it wanted to give potential candidates a clear picture of future vacancies at the earliest opportunity, with lead-in time enabling potential candidates to be proactive in gaining training and support.
And don't forget, you can read more about these stories and more in-depth features and interviews at themanufacturer.com, as well as keeping up to date at The Manufacturer on Twitter. Also, on a final note, if you know someone who is making a difference in manufacturing, then please nominate them for The Manufacturer Top 100 2015. It's simple. All you do is nominate in 200 words or less on how they're making a difference. Nominations close on July 31st. That's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching, thanks to Callum, and we'll see you next time.